Welcome back, and you're with us at Commodity Champions, and we're talking about sugar now because when you talk about festivals, you also talk mithais and food and beverages. Eating out just about increases. So what is the calculation that India has in sense of sugar consumption? For that conversation, let's get in Mr. Deepak Ballani. He's DG ISMA. Mr. Ballani, hi, thank you so much for joining in. We're talking about festivals today and the kind of consumption that sugar can see during the next 3 or 4 months until Diwali and beyond. What is it that you're looking at in sense of numbers, and would you say India stands in a comfortable position as of now?
Thank you, Manisha. Thank you for having me on your show. As we all know, the festival season has started. But if you see the trend of the entire year, the consumption seems to be quite on the lower side if you compare with the last year. With whatever quota has been released and the GST dispatches till July end, looks like that we will be closing the consumption at around 279 or 280 lakh tons by 30th of September. Having said that, the ex-mill prices are quite stable for quite some time. The UP is hovering around 40, 40.5, while Maharashtra is around 38, 39 rupees. And the cost of production of sugar is almost 40 rupees. And if you look at the retail prices where it is directly linked to the consumer, the retail prices at the moment of sugar is around 45.9, which is much lower. If you see the growth, the inflation in the sugar prices is almost negligible if you compare to other commodity prices. And going forward, looking at the demand and looking at the festivals, I don't see the retail prices going up. I think perhaps since we have sufficient sugar stock in the country, and with all the likelihood, we will be closing the sugar season with almost 52 to 53 lakh tons. The prices are expected to remain stable.
Mr. Ballani, I want your attention at the USDA report that came in a few weeks ago, which says that while the global sugar average increase is 1%, India, they expect at around nearly 2% at 30 million tons, which you say the Indian sugar consumption is much lower at. And as you said, we're looking at a reverse sugar demand here. We're eating less sugar. So would you say it's not keeping pace, one, with the lifestyle, second, with the population increase as well when it comes to India?
See, I don't believe that our sugar consumption is actually going down. This year, there has been a disruption, not because maybe the sugar consumption has gone down, perhaps last year because of the elections and also some leakages across the border. I believe the consumption was phenomenally down from 290 to around 280. But going forward, I feel although in tier one cities, the metro cities, people have become more conscious and perhaps moderating the consumption of sugar. But the tier two cities and also the rural areas where we are seeing the increase of the packaged food. So I believe the sugar will still continue to grow at the rate of around 1.52% going forward.
Well, absolutely. Packaged food is what I'm really talking about. Mithai is something that we'll see in festival season, Mr. Ballani. But apart from that, ice creams and food and beverages and hospitality, with the way people are eating out more, eating more packaged food as well, 1 to 1.5% is something that we've been seeing all these years as well. Would you see any movement there, or you think this is the new trend now?
No, I think it is going to have a very similar trend as in the past year. While the sugar consumption may be stagnating in tier one cities, as I said, it would be compensated by slightly increase in the sugar consumption by way of packaged food in tier two and tier three cities. So, and 60 to 65% of the sugar sales is to the institutional buyers, to the bulk consumers. So I believe this would keep a slow pace. As you know, our per capita consumption is still very low if you compare to the world average. So I think 1.5% should be the consumption increase, which we may look at going forward.
Mr. Ballani, do share the per capita consumption numbers that you have, because we've been reading so many numbers and then there are just so many influencers and data that gets thrown at us. What is ISMA's number when you look at per capita consumption in India?
So we, at the moment, in the last interactions, I had actually told you that we have hired a very renowned agency to do a complete sugar consumption study. And that study is almost complete. I think another 15 days, we will be able to give you a complete detail on what is the trend, which sector seems to be growing, what is our actual consumption, and going forward, what may perhaps we look at the institutional segment as well as the retail segment in terms of sugar consumption is concerned. So maybe another 15, 20 days, we can have another interaction on specifically our outcome of this study of sugar consumption.
We are willing to wait another 15, 20 days, Mr. Ballani. I know you've had to deal with a lot of things. One, exports, then ethanol, and then, of course, whether or not sugar is harmful for Indians. And now you're talking about what is the per capita consumption. So I'm assuming, yes, you've been quite busy looking at all of those surveys and studies that you're getting done. But what also are you looking at in sense of the overall crop this time around? Because 25-26 also is a year when we are looking at higher sugar production. How do you see India consuming all of that number?
See, on 31st of July, ISMA came up with its first estimate based on our satellite images, based on our crop assessment, and we have estimated around 349 lakh tons of gross sugar production with an upward bias. Why I'm mentioning an upward bias is primarily because that the current estimate is based on the kind of rains which we are having and the health of the crop. Going forward, if we continue to get good rains and if the trend continues, then we might actually have a better production beyond 34.9 million tons. So that is why we have decided this time that ISMA will come up with its second estimate in September after doing a reassessment of the crop and also taking a fresh satellite images. Having said, even if we considered a gross production of 349 lakh tons and sugar consumption of almost 284 to 85 lakh tons this year, we are looking at least 50 lakh tons as a diversion to ethanol, because that is something which is very, very important. Otherwise, we will have a sugar glut in the country, putting a lot of pressure on the domestic prices and leading to a lot of problems of the viability of the mills. So we are at least looking at 50 lakh tons as a diversion, but subject to the price revision. As you know, the price revision of ethanol has not been done for last 2 years, but this time we are expecting the government to make sure that the price of ethanol is in line with the increase of the FRP. And also, after the ethanol diversion, we are looking at least export of 20 lakh tons. And that is how I think we will be able to create a balance and equilibrium in the industry, ensuring a viable price for the millers and also the timely cane payment of the farmers.
Mr. Ballani, I've underlined on what you said that 50 lakh is going to ethanol diversion. If you get a price revision, what is the possibility of that? Because we've been seeing that, talking that for the last couple of years now.
I know it is, we had a very good program going on because of the government's policy and because of the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister. I understand that last 2 years there has not been revision, but I believe with the increased FRP again, which is now 355 rupees per quintal, and my cost of production is almost 5 to 6 rupees more than the current cost of ethanol, I believe government will definitely consider the increase this time.
All right, Mr. Ballani, thank you so much for joining in. Well, sugar consumption is expected to be quite stable this time around, 1 to 1.5% of an increase. But, well, there's lots happening with sugar as an industry right now, whether it is about production, exports, and, of course, ethanol. That is the most important story to watch out for as well. But for now, thank you, Mr. Ballani, so much for joining us here at Commodity Champions. Thank you, viewers, as well. That's all the time that we have today.